Good day, Minecraftians. Purple Mentat here, bringing you episode 10 of my Agrarian Skies Hardcore Quest Let's Play. This game pack by Jadedcat is available on the Feed the Beast launcher. Since last episode, I swapped the Harvester Tree Farm over to rubber trees from Mine Factory Reloaded, needed myself an awful lot of raw rubber, and I've got 8 stacks of it now, so that's plenty more than I needed. I also spent some time getting some of the materials together and pre-crafting for some of the machines that I'm going to want to be using in the finishing of this build so that I can automatically turn all of these dusts and such, which I'm getting a fair bit fairly quickly, into ingots. I also added one small addition to this system. I tossed a lever onto the pulverizer that is handling sand and made sure that these two were set to redstone control low. That way, if I decide that I need to focus on diamonds and emeralds, I can just click that off. It will stop generating sand entirely, and it will only produce, which will cut off the dust production. Therefore, only gravel will end up getting into this autonomous activator, which will mean that only redstone bearing dust, only diamond and emerald bearing items will get tossed into the sieve. You know, it's a lot simpler in my head, but when I try to explain it, everything gets all wonky. Alright, so step 1 for the next build is going to be to make a bit of a hole in the ceiling. We're actually going to go straight up from the vacuum hopper. Decided that I'm going to need more room than I have in this little area to do everything, because I need 27 more machines to be able to fully, completely make the most of this. Well, actually a little bit more than that. I'm also going to need to get myself some more redstone energy conduits so that I can get power up there. Right now I've got 32 redstone. That's enough to make 16 of the conduits. So I'm going to do that. And to go over how that's done just one more time, last time on camera, you need a magma crucible and a fluid transposer. You need your redstone, and you need electrum ingots and hardened glass. And then you put some electrum ingots surrounding hardened glass in the crafting table. You get conduits. Come over to where I've got some exposed power. Put down the transposer and the crucible. Make sure that the crucible is feeding out of the side that the transposer is on, and the transposer is accepting from the side that the magma crucible is on. And let's make 8 right now. Each one of them costs 2 redstone dust. Gets smelted up, 200 millibuckets of it turns into more redstone energy conduits. And how do I want to run the power up? You know, I could probably put it right through this. Yeah, that'll work just fine. There we go. So what's going to happen here is I'm going to grab these conduits out of here and send them straight up this column. I'm going to need to break that. There we go. I'm going to need more of these, but this will do for the time being. And then I just need a whole bunch of this border stone in panel form, which I've got my saw. One of these chests. The next project is inventory management, but I needed the diamond and emerald to handle the inventory management, so I figured I may as well finish this off and do it its full justice. Once I get those chests out of the way, I'll be able to cover this up the rest of the way. Oh, if I want to continue the pattern, I need edgestone brick covers. There we go. Perfect. And now this side. You get covered. You, and you. And you would never even know it is there. Until you come up here, and you can see it poking out just right there. Hello. Alright. So, I'm going to have materials coming up here. I'm going to have power under here. So I'm going to run this like this. And this will all make sense in a moment. I need to clean out just a little bit more. 6, 7, 8. Oh yeah, that's perfect. That could not work out better if I'd planned it. Well, I did, kinda, but this is my first time actually, like, getting in here, counting blocks. I do like to do most of it on screen, unless it's something I've done before, in which case you guys don't care, I assume. Maybe I'm wrong. Alright. You have to hold shift while right-clicking to place it on an inventory. Alright, so that needs time to process and create more redstone for us, so I'm actually going to turn that back on to producing the dust. As right now, redstone is really the limiting factor. Everything. Oh, no, there's the slabs. And as you can see, getting this situation sorted is quickly turning into a very high priority. So let me demonstrate exactly how this is going to work, because I've got enough here to get things started. There. I'm going to need an awful lot of pneumatic servos to do this as well. This entire build is going to use lots and lots of redstone. Luckily, after I get most of this build done, my redstone requirements for the map will significantly reduce. I'm going to run some power over here. And we'll start with iron, just considering it's the most commonly used metal. Alright, I'm going to need 18 more. This all looks crazy at the moment. Don't worry, there is a plan. So, I need a block that can, on its own, turn, for example, 4 of these iron ore, these broken iron ore, into iron gravel. And to do that, I'm going to use autonomous cyclic assemblers. Cyclic assemblers are a thermal expansion block. They automatically craft when supplied with power and with materials, and they have a little inventory that you can pump the materials into. They use tin gears, which you can make with forestry using copper ingots and tin ingots, or with thermal expansion using iron ingots and tin ingots. I chose the forestry option. They use redstone reception coils, they use a chest, they use a machine frame, they use some copper, and I'm making 27 of them because there are 9 types of ore that are coming out of these overworld materials, and I want to be able to start smelting everything that I'm currently getting. Later on, I might need to expand it further. So boom, 27 cyclic assemblers. Now, to use those cyclic assemblers, I need blueprints. Blueprints are made with paper and lapis. There we go. And some of you. Make paper with sugarcane. Combine paper with lapis. Hang on. That may have been schematic, that's the name of it. Schematic uses 2 paper per each. And right now, well, I'll make the lot. More will be useful later. And, like I said, I want to start with the broken iron. So step 1 in this master plan. Set down cyclic assembler. Facing like Nya. I'll actually put down all 3. And you can see the iron chain. I don't have the servos that I need to make the whole thing work quite yet. Alright. So to use the schematics, you're going to want to put one in here. You're going to want to tell it in this little interface over here what to do. So I'm setting down the 4 broken iron. You can left click to get, or right click with an empty pointer to get rid of it. You do need to disable NEI by hitting O. If you do not, then you'll click right through and it won't quite work right. And once you have that all done, it'll show you iron or gravel. You hit check and it encodes it on the schematic. If you mouse over this schematic, you can see it makes 1 iron ore gravel with 4 broken iron ore. and if you hold shift, it'll show you what it looks like. Now, if I toss broken iron ore into there, it will very quickly cycle through and get everything all made up. It's pretty brilliant. I'm actually going to need more room than that. Oh, nope, no I won't. Nope. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. I have to keep reminding myself I know what I'm doing. Alright, that's an absolute lie. I don't know what I'm doing and I need to redesign this. Be right back. Okay, that took a little bit, but I got some more redstone, got more conduits placed up there, and figured out exactly how derpy I was being. Got everything configured better. Still not perfect. Doesn't need to be, though. You get to see some of it on screen. So I've got these assemblers pointing at the wall. They are going to pull in from the top and output to the back. I don't actually have any. Oh, I've got a whole pile of pneumatic servos on hand. And I'm going to grab my iron again. So, I'm going to set this up so that it will only accept broken iron ore. And then I'm going to set up a couple more cyclic assemblers for iron. One there facing that way, and one. Oh, you know what? I can face them all just like this. So I'm just going to get these all placed down right now. And these ones on the right here are going to pull in the top and output to the right. This is a very overkill approach to things. I am looking to eke every possible iota of bonus out of this that I possibly can. So, this is set to only produce broken iron ore, and is going to pull out of this side. I'm going to add the broken iron ore, and put the schematic back in, and poof. We have plenty of iron ore gravel. Now that iron ore gravel is going to need to be smacked with a diamond hammer to produce crushed iron ore, which is going to be what this guy accepts once I give him a servo. So only crushed iron ore will go in there. When it gets crushed iron ore, it will do nothing right away. Once I assign the schematic to produce the iron ore sand, it will produce more iron ore sand. And then that iron ore sand will need to be smacked with a hammer to turn into pulverized iron. Now you see I got a 5 of the crushed iron when I broke the one, and 5 more when I broke this, so I've already got a 50% bonus in metal output from those 2 blocks. That's why I'm doing this, is so that I don't need nearly as much of the diamond and iron, the diamond and emerald items, the autonomous activators. I can still get an absolute ton of metals by assembling and then crushing everything. Now all I need to do is build 2 of those autonomous activators like I was talking about just a moment ago. Ooh, and maybe shut this whole thing off for a bit, because it is flat out overflowing. Yeah, that's a real issue. What can I do about that? Grab you. Give it some room for some things. I'm going to clean up this mess and I'll be right back. Alright, got the mess cleaned up. Got a couple of more things ready for this. So this is how this is going to work. Broken iron ore is going to come up here, go into this guy, get turned into iron ore gravel. Oops. There we go. Quite quickly at that. Then that iron ore gravel is going to get exported out this side. And it's going to go right back down. Where it's going to flow into this whitelisted container, which is accepting iron ore gravel, setting it down, and this guy is going to be set to left click with a hammer inside of it. We're going to move things around so that it doesn't get stuck like that. Here, let's turn that off for the moment. As you can see, already generating lots and lots and lots of crushed iron ore. And we're going to handle this by simply moving the that other autonomous activator to the other side. We're also going to end up setting up a system to automatically repair this Fortune 3 diamond hammer when it gets low. That's going to take quite a bit longer. Now, there's going to be quite a few more varieties of ore. In fact, there's going to be 27, there's going to be 18 kinds of ore produced that are going to need to be put into this autonomous activator, put there and smashed. To handle that, I've got a second pipe, which is going to get a second servo. Going through a lot of these servos to be able to automate these item ducts, because with the servos, they are actually quite powerful at sorting things around. Alright, so that crushed iron ore will get pulled up here, put into this one, which will turn into iron ore sand. It'll go back into the pipe, come back down, get placed, and get broken with the hammer. And you may have guessed by now, but this one here is going to get whitelisted with pulverized, and it's going to have a schematic set up to turn for those and NEI is still on. Turn that off. For those pulverized iron ore into iron ore dust. And that will be pulled out this side on the left. Right now there's nowhere for it to go in the system though, so it's not pulling it out. However, we're going to create a place for it to go. Because we're going to come down to our smeltery, and we're going to attach that. Smeltery controller, you can pipe items in. Oh, but wait. No, we're not quite done. This isn't going to be 100% perfectly efficient yet. It will be eventually. Alright, so take that servo, install it there, tell you, whitelist, iron ore dust. So the iron ore dust will get automatically pumped into the smeltery, which, once we supply it with lava, will automatically melt things down. Now, I'm going to set up the rest of the metals with their filters, their cyclic assemblies, etc., and I will be right back. Briefly back, folks. Work continues. Set up another lava farm out back here, as I'm going to need to supply the smelteries with a constant stream of lava. Moved the cobble barrel into the wall. A couple of hollow panels, or hollow covers. Pretty things up a bit. Sent some lava up here. Got some panels covering the fluid ducts that are going to be extracting from the smelteries. And upstairs, I have the entire thing all wired up. Everything's set to, there's one for each ore in broken, one for each ore in crushed, and one for each ore in pulverized. All whitelisted. So that only that type will go in. Got a handful of iron ore sand and iron ore dust on me. Gonna head downstairs and make sure that the iron ore sand is set up on the autonomous activator. And for now, I just have a barrel full of stone hammers on top of there, because I'm gonna need a more advanced system than I have. And we can see some iron ore dust going there. Iron ore dust shouldn't be going in there. Here we go. So iron ore sand is whitelisted. You put the sand down. It gets sucked in, pulled through. In fact, if I put iron ore dust in there, it should get spat out and go to the right place as well. The fun part about this entire system is that it basically manages itself once you get it all set up. It's just setting up that's the difficult part. This here is whitelisted for the iron ore dust. Good. Except the dust keeps coming back into here for some reason. Oh, I think I need to tell it to use metadata. Or use NBT. Ah, I need to tell it to ignore the ore dictionary. That's what I need to do. So yes, these need to be told to ignore the ore dictionary. Because the iron ore sand and iron ore dust are both on the ore dictionary. There we go. So I toss that dust back into the world. It will get pulled up and dumped into this smeltery. Fantastic. I'm actually going to break part of that chain because I need some of this. There we go. And as that pours in, it gets placed inside the smeltery and starts cooking. Now, how are we going to handle this? To make sure that things actually go to the right spot, I need to get myself a bucket full of iron ore, molten iron. A bucket of molten iron requires, I believe it's 8? Yeah, around 8-ish iron ore dust. I've already got something for a bucket set up over on this smeltery, so we'll use this one. Give this just a second to smelt up. And I'm going to stick a casting basin right there. Disable that connection. Once that's good and liquid, shouldn't take much longer now, we'll be able to fill up the bucket. You can see there's plenty of iron ore going into it already, which should... Alright. So it takes 1,000 millibuckets to fill that, that bucket. And now I have a molten iron ore bucket. And I come over to this, tell you to whitelist the molten iron ore. It should go straight up into this casting basin. I have no idea why it isn't. Alright, I'm going to figure this out and be right back. Okay, so fairly simple issue. This thing just needed to be set to redstone ignored for reasons unknown. In any case, now molten iron is the only thing that will go into this barrel, no matter what whatever the things end up there. And now I can set up the item ducts to pull out of it. And they are going to be delivering to right here, which is going to be the new home of that chest, which has been upgraded to diamond in the meantime, by the way. A gold to... oh, I don't know why I'm still in cheat mode. Been testing this extensively to make sure it would work in my test world. Gold to diamond chest, upgrade, simple as that. You've seen how the upgrades were applied before. And that's an absolutely massive inventory. So, set you to pull out. And going to use the last of the red net cable to make that happen. I'm actually going to need to make some more red net cable, but get to that in a moment. Right now, I need a lever that I don't have. But that's easy fix. Oh, that's a problem. It won't pull out the top. Alright, I'm going to have to redesign this. Okay, so it couldn't pull the blocks out of the top, which I just could have sworn it could. So now I'm going to get the rest of them installed. I've got iron into that one. I just need to set up to whitelist gold into that one. Underneath these, I've got a bunch of Mine Factory Reloaded rednet cables so that I can activate those. And when I turn these, this lever, it will activate the entire thing. Oh, and I just need to put in a couple more redneck cables there. Trying to be careful and not, you know, plummet. Because as funny as that would be, let's avoid that for today. So I'm going to do one more pass through of all of this after I get it all together. And you can see how it's all going to work. All right, folks. So this has been a very large, very complicated, and very finicky build, and honestly was way too much to try to pack into one episode, but it's all done, and it's kind of crazy. I love it. All right, so let's go over the entire process chain in detail, and I'll show you every step of the way. So, igneous extruders create cobblestone, output cobblestone. You should be outputting cobblestone. You output down, ignore redstone. I don't know why it's not outputting. There we go. Just had to flip things around a bit. Alright, cobblestone goes into these three, which produce gravel that goes into these two, which produce sand that goes into this one. And it's currently completely overloading our autonomous activator, so I'm actually going to shut that off and find some way to deal with that between this episode and next one. Maybe more autonomous activators, I'm not certain yet. In any case, the everything gets sieved up and fed into these two vacuum hoppers, which take the bits upstairs, where I have 3 banks of 9 autonomous activators, converting broken ore into gravel, crushed ore into sand, and pulverized ore into dust. All of those then go back downstairs, as you'll be able to see in just a moment. Should have a couple popping out. There we go. There's a block of something heading back downstairs. To set these to filter, it's simply whitelist and put in at whichever one you need, and leave all of the other options alone. The gravel ore and the sand ore go into this autonomous activator set to right click. You need to set these two filters with, again, whitelist and on a pneumatic servo. You need to set these to ignore ore dictionary, because the copper ore gravel is ore dictionaried with copper ore sand, copper ore dust, regular copper ore. It'll try to stuff everything in here, and that's not what you're looking to do. So that will end up, let's see, right now it's only producing dusts, but that's okay, because I can show you the final step in the chain. The dusts come down here, and in this one we have iron, gold, lead, copper, and platinum ore dust. Again, ignore ore dictionary. None of these 5 will alloy together. They're all going into this hopper, and then getting dumped into this smeltery controller, which smelts them up. And you can see some of them about to finish. And that molten iron gets immediately sucked into this bank of 9 casting basins, each one of which has a molten iron whitelist, has a specific fluid filter set to it, and I still got my bucket of molten tin. And that's just more pneumatic servos. So in total, this build used 6 pulverizers, 5 autonomous activators, 4 igneous extruders, 27 cyclic assemblers, 7 autonomous activators, 9 casting basins, 2 giant smelteries, something like 50 pneumatic servos, and a partridge in a pear tree. In any case, now what's going to happen is basically I just need to let things run, and it will produce resources. All of the bone dust, gems, redstone, etc., will end up going down here. This is sent to Dent, so it's the last place that anything will go. All of the ore dust will go into the hoppers and get melted down into liquids, which will get put into those casting basins. When there's 9 ingots worth of a molten liquid in a casting basin, it will solidify into a block, which will be sucked out the bottom here. Uh-oh. Which will get sucked out the bottom there because I've got that MFR rednet cable underneath it. And yeah, I'm now producing all kinds of resources, and all I need to do is ignore it, and eventually I'm going to have to empty out this chest, which will be the focus of the next episode, is some better inventory management that I can manage with item ducts, barrels, and chests. Alright, we got sand producing. The gravel's still not full. That's the thing, is I really want gravel right now. However, this thing is keeping up, but that's entirely because these two aren't full yet. So for the time being, I'm going to drop that lever on the sand pulverizers, and I'm just going to stop them. I'm going to be focusing entirely on grinding up as much gravel as I can so that I can get emerald, diamond, and etc. Well, mostly emerald and diamond. Also lapis. Can't think of any other ones that are very important. And while I'm doing that, they will still produce all of the metals, because they'll come up here in broken form, go into the appropriate cyclic assembler, come back out in the dust form, go downstairs, get broken. It's a beautiful little process, and I'm quite happy with it. It just took a lot of time to put together, and I do not feel I did it justice in the recording. So, that's going to be all the time that we have for today. Between now and next time, I'm going to be letting this run and collecting more emeralds and more diamond. I already have a fair bit. And I'm going to see if there's a method for me to deal with sieving a little bit faster. I might move the entire sieving operation upstairs and add a second sieve to it. Like, I'm thinking the sieve, the 2 sieves with between 5 and 8 autonomous activators each, and then 2 or 3 of those autonomous activator pairs that are just hammering everything. Because this seems to be keeping up with life fairly easily now that I've gotten through the backlog. Just want to wait for something to come down so that you can see, well, you can watch the dust going into place right now. There's some of it coming right here, actually. Actually, it's popping through faster than you can see because of the way the hoppers work. I've got one more copper ore dust in my inventory. And this isn't clogging. This is also a bit of a final test of, can it just run? So far, it seems to be doing fairly well. I suppose these item ducts could stand to move a little bit faster. That's an option that I will look into upgrading all of them next time. I just need to see if I have enough glowstone. Oh, here we go. There's a bit of gravel coming down. It's going to go into this side of this autonomous activator. This guy's hooked up with a barrel of hammers, keeping him fed. That's going to place down the gravel. And it's going to get broken into 5 crushed platinum ore. So there we go. That was, to me, that's worth it. It's a 25% boost. There's a further about 10% increase in ore production that I can get out of this entire chain by running the final product. These iron ore dust, platinum ore dust, all of these can be run through a pulverizer to get the thermal expansion materials. And I'll probably end up adding that to this system at some point in time, but not until I have a better inventory management system than item ducts. I love the item ducts. I just feel I've taken them to the maximum of their capability, and I want to use applied energistics before I go any further. But this whole system is going to give me the iron and the diamonds that I need for that. I mean, I have 25 blocks of iron already, and that doesn't look like a lot until I turn it into, you know, almost 4 full stacks of iron like that. So again, this is going to be all the time we have for today, because I've already spent entirely longer on this than I should have. And I hope that you've enjoyed seeing this build. It's a spaghetti mess of tubes, and it's not by any means perfect, and I absolutely adore it. So, thank you very much for joining me, and if you've enjoyed the series so far, please comment, subscribe, like a video, favorite a video. These things really help get my exposure out there, which will get more people to be able to come and enjoy these videos. I will see you next time.